overtones and undertones. Let's play a G on piano. These are overtones and these are the undertones. And overtones and undertones actually define the timbre of an instrument, and they are really important. However, there's one mind-blowing fact about the overtones. I have a simple sawtooth. Now take a look at our overtones. Overtones are produced on each integer multiplier. So 100, 200, 300, we can see it there. If we put this one octave up now, so G2, now we have the overtones 200, 400, 600. Because of this multiplication, lower octaves would have tighter harmonies because like 100, 200, 300, 400. That is why when you put auto-T on lower pitch sound, auto-T pushes those higher harmonics up and they tend to sound richer compared to the higher harmonics. Mind-blowing, isn't it? The second concept is called motif. So the motif is basically a really small piece of melody that repeats inside the melody itself. I have this preset from my Analog Techno preset pack, and I have an idea of motifs like this. Very short piece, but could be really used to create full melody. So I'm going to repeat this and add a little bit extra on top to create a longer melody. So if you're having hard times creating melodies, motifs could be really a good starting point. Canons are just the melodies with one or more imitation played after a given duration. This one is easier to explain on Ableton, so let me show you. This time we have this melody. To turn this into a canon, we just need to actually duplicate the same melody, but oftentimes delay it a little bit. Really cool party trick. A trill is a musical pattern that involves rapid alteration between a note and an auxiliary note directly above it. This upper note could be either half step or full step. The notes in a trill meant to play it quite rapidly. Let me show you. So I have this preset. If you make a trill, it should be something like this. And it's quite common to change the speed while you are doing the trill. If you wonder how you can actually use a trill, they are really handy for creating the breaks. So I already created one, the same notes, a small break here. Take a look. Little tool for making interesting breaks. And the next one is, I don't know if I pronounce it correctly, but it's called Sforzando. So basically meaning that you should articulate either a chord or a note so that it creates a tension or power. Let me show you. I have a tiny break here. I am increasing the velocity here, and the last chord here is my Sforzando. Quieter, very loud. Let me show you. Dun dun dun. Done. And which also brings us to the fermata. It is used to indicate that the chord or the note should be played longer duration than it should be. And it's very useful again for creating breaks and drops. And here we have a fermata, basically playing it sustained and long. And when you are doing fermata, not resolving chord also really helps with the tension. Here, if you take a look, then we are hanging there with this tension, so the resolving chord will be something like this. If I play together with the loop now, you will understand what type of feeling I was talking about. Did you see how much it helped to create this tension right before the drop and enhance it pretty much? So keep that in mind next time you are making your break and drop. So let's jump into the chords a little bit. There's really one thing that you need to understand for chords and chord progression, and these are called triads. So if you want to create a major triad, let's say we are on F here and want to create F major triad, count 4 half step above. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then from this point count 3 half step above. 1, 2, 3. This. F major triad. And if you want to do the minor version, it's the other way around. First you count 3 half step above. 1, 2, 3. And from there, this time you count 4 half steps above. 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you want to do a suspended triad, again, you start with the 3 half step above. 1, 2, 3. And this time, instead of 4, you count one more time 3 half step above. 1, 2, 3. Suspended triads tend to sound quite dissonant. They are good for creating tension. Arpeggios are basically, rather than playing the chords like this, playing the individual notes, something like this. Order doesn't matter, you can do the way you like it, maybe something like this. Or something like this. Or maybe a bit more advanced. A regular triad can have 2 inversions, so let's go back to our F major. The first inversion will be taking this note and putting 1 octave above, so this. The second inversion will be taking this and putting 1 octave above. Now, inversions are about the bass note of the chord. If you want to open up the sound and make more interesting chords, you can use voicing. This time, let me show you from the C minor. So we have this. But if I want to flavor this up, I can move this note 1 octave up. From here to here. Or maybe I can move this even 1 octave up. Voicings are especially important on the pad sounds. The same C minor played with the pad sound from my preset pack. You see how it is dark and closed? If you want to open this up a little bit, let's put the D sharp 1 octave up. So shift up. Take a look how it sounds now. So from here to here. So play with voicing when you are making your pad sounds, you can end up really cool sounds. Now, if you are not happy and if you want to still make more interesting chords, there is something that is called upper chord extension. The idea is extremely simple. Let's take our C minor again. If you want to make this a bit more complicated, you can start adding up the notes above. So if you want to make a C minor 7th, this is the 7th note in the scale, that's the reason they call 7th. 8, 9, 10, 11. You can experiment here actually quite a bit. So the names or nomenclature doesn't really matter. Just listen to it and try to come up with something you like. Really easy and cool, isn't it? Theory doesn't need to be that complicated. Power chords are basically the 1st and 5th in a scale. If we take our C major scale one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. C power chord is this. The good thing with power chords are you can actually completely forget about the scale, play power chords all the time. There is one more trick that is really interesting, which is actually power chords in synthesizers. I have this simple patch that I just made by using my analog wavetables. I know it doesn't sound like a serum, but it's basically because of these analog wavetables making it quite analogish. Now the power chord can be done by tuning up one of those letters 7 half tones above or 5 semitones below. I'm gonna go for 7 up and see how this made the sound much more stronger, hence name power chord. For creating really powerful lead and bass sounds, try power chords. The dynamics means that how hard you will play the instrument, either it's a guitar or it's a piano. Depending on how hard I play, see how the timbre of the sound and the loudness of the sound changes. And this is what many people actually misses in their tracks in modern music area. But it doesn't need to be this way. You can actually emulate exactly the same thing with the synthesizers. Now I have this preset, again from preset pack, sounding like this. Do you see how it reacts to the playing? What is happening here is actually the velocity is mapped both to the cutoff, so the sound gets more aggressive when I play faster, changing the timbre, and velocity is also map to the volume of each oscillators, very similar to the piano. Let me show you how much this can change the expression and the emotion in the piece that you are playing. Yeah, a synth-like serum can be really this expressive and organic. Crescendo means that increasing the volume of the instrument while playing gradually. Very, very important concept, especially for electronic dance music. Very common way to use crescendo actually altering the cutoff filter, because cutoff filter also affects the loudness level. For example, you will often see something like this. I'm using the pads here. Gradually opening and gradually getting louder. What I don't see oftentimes doing the same things for the drums. Look at these beautiful drums and how much ambience it gives by just simple volume automation. And of course the same thing with the lead sounds as well. And this whole thing gives the whole ambience to the track, this deep warehouse feeling.